Remember, Marlow will, by default of seedings, have won the die roll for this matchup.
And they both have hats that are rival hats. As many people know, the Boston Red Sox are rivals of the University of Kentucky.
Yes.
Wildcats.
Yeah. Boston, as you recall, in the last year, went on a terrible run to miss the playoffs, whereas Kentucky were national champions. But then, fortunately, graduated their whole team. So this year, it's anyone's game between the two of them.
Yes, playing in different leagues, but rivals nonetheless.
Nonetheless, a bitter rivalry. Yeah, both the players pretty chatty here, which is nice to see. A fair amount on the line for them, but it's nice to see the players still kind of, getting into it, mixing it up with each other a bit.
Yeah, the more is on the line, the more I tend to talk.
I agree. The more.
I love talking to people when you're in the top 8 of an event.
Yeah, I think some people sometimes, it's definitely to people. Some people react by getting more serious in serious situations, and some people kind of try to diffuse the seriousness to the situations. I would be more in your camp. I talk to people a lot, especially when I'm in a big match.
Yeah. I want them to know that I am their friend.
But are you their friend for the match? I mean, if you're competing with them, for thousands of dollars in Magic, you can be friends before the match. You can be friends after the match. During the match, they are a rival planeswalker whom you must defeat in battle.
It's true. They are a rival planeswalker whom I must defeat in battle. And I mean, if I don't win, then I won't have enough money to, fund my jetpack project.
Right.
So it's really important that I win. But if I talk enough and make them think I'm friendly enough, maybe I can make them if they could be one of my backers, they could help fund my jetpack project, and they can have a cut of it once it's the most successful business in the world.
So what's the goal? What is the goal of the jetpack project?
The Jake's jetpacks. I want everybody in the world to have their own jetpack, so they can travel from place to place.
Very admirable goal.
Yeah.
So we need 6 billion jetpacks. More soon to be
6 billion jetpacks.
All right. How many are we at right now?
Right now we don't have any yet.
Okay.
So there are only 6 billion more that we have to make.
Well, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. But the way I figure it is, if everybody just makes one, then we'll have 6 billion of them.
Yeah. That seems perfectly reasonable. We already have plans for how we're going to accomplish this.
We already have 6 billion people. Everybody only has to build one. It's got to be more than 6 billion people now.
Yeah, actually, I think we're already half on. I think we're over halfway to 7 billion.
Oh, we have to be further along than that, right? Because it's.
Are we over 7 yet? I don't think we are.
What? Wasn't
Maybe
it like 2000 or 2000? It was like 1999 that it was 6 billion.
Maybe I'm just showing. Okay, maybe we are over 7. That's probably
true. I remember
true.
I had a college professor, and
well, you're going to have to get more jetpacks now. Is the real implication of this?
That's
true.
Have
to build more.
That's true. And I didn't really take into account that the very young children will be unable to build their own jetpacks.
Right. Well, their parents will have to build. Their parents will have to build jetpacks for them. We have 6.8 billion. Okay, so we're not at. We've been informed 6.8. Not actually at 7 yet. So, if you get your 7 billion jetpacks, you should be set for at least another year.
That's crazy that we're only at 6.8. That seems like a very slow. 7? 7? Okay. Oh, we are at 7. We're at 7 billion.
Okay, we just are barely over 7.
Sorry.
I don't know. Okay. We're conflicting reports over how many people we actually have.
200 million people were just born.
Okay, so now we move up.
Players, we are extending the registration period for the draft.
All right, so on to our game here.
Make sure to come on up to the invitational stage and get yourself
Both players still readying their decks. So
once again,
compared to let's compare Ross's deck of how it's going to play against Marlow's deck. We'll compare it to what happened last time with Brad Shepard. As you remember, both these decks are somewhat similar, but Brad Shepard's deck we saw a lot of Blade Splicers out of, something we won't see with Ross. Presumably you would think that's a better matchup for Michael Marlow, because Blade Splicer is such an excellent card against him, he didn't really seem to mind. So, on the other hand, I do think I want, so I think on first glance you'd think that Ross's matchup would be worse. He's playing Geist to St. Traft. Certainly not as good with Phantasmal, equally weak against Phantasmal Image. He also doesn't have Feast and Famine.
It's definitely worse.
Yeah. So, I would say the matchup is a little worse. He has more can tripping, and I think he gets to his business cards a little faster. So he needs to be Ross needs to be more aggressive game 1. I think game 1 he's definitely worse. Ross has access to a much stronger sideboard, so if he can win game 1, I think I like his odds to win the whole match.
Yeah, Ross's sideboard is awesome, and it's really well built. Michael's sideboard, not the best against these Delver type strategies.
No.
Not a lot going on there. But maybe his main deck is just really well positioned against them. Last round, he had to fight through multiple Blade Splicers, over and over, and was able to do it.
Michael played to like the strength, the side of his deck, which is really his strongest side. It was Gravecrawlers, almost solely with Gravecrawlers, Phantasmal Images, and Geralf's Messengers. So it's that image, I think, that really,
Ross Merriam.
Finally on camera, thank you very much. Despite our best attempts to keep Ross off of camera, he has now made it here in the finals.
I'm furious. All I wanted was to keep him off camera.
I know, it was my goal, and then he thwarted me and has now made his way onto camera. So now we will thoroughly scrutinize his plays in front of everyone who's watching at home.
Yeah. Evil Delver player Ross Merriam. Ross the Boss Merriam? Or he could be Ross the Ross Merriam. Because Brian the Ross Boss didn't do well enough.
There's so many words that rhyme with Oss.
Well, it's only Ross and Boss.
Ross
we
and
only
Boss.
use Ross
Yes,
and
but
Boss.
you're just using them a bunch.
I know, but that's the whole point. So, basically what happened in the Magic community is there was a player named Tom Ross.
Right.
Tom Ross, very strong player, super cool guy, great deck builder. He did very well at Pro Tour San Diego, I believe.
He designed the Naya deck, which Luis went 16-0 with in the standard of for Pro Tour San Diego.
Wow. Yeah. So, but Tom the Boss Ross, incredible player, and since his time, we've had a lot of other players coming in who are trying to use his name to their advantage. So you have people like Ross the Boss Merriam, or
Brian Boss.
Brian Boss, who is
Brian the Ross Boss.
Yeah, Brian the Ross Boss.
All right. So our finals: Michael Marlow, Blue Black Zombies against Ross Merriam playing Blue White Delver. Yes. We are keeping all right. So we're supposed to completely scrutinize his hand there, full of lands and ponders, and he's going to take a mulligan on it.
Yeah, I think wasn't his only land a Glacial Fortress? Or
it was a Glacial Fortress and some ponders. It was really a strong one there.
You don't even get the ponder on turn 1.
No, it's not.
No wind in
and he's on the draw.
Yeah.
All right, so we will begrudgingly agree with his mulligan decision.
Michael's pretty excited about the mulligan.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. Finals, standard open. We're gonna move on to an invitational.
Right. So
just a little bit. Invitational. What an insane tournament! This tournament has the only tournament you can enter with better prizes than this. Pro Tour.
Yeah, and even at that, sometimes I'm not sure if per player that's actually even true. Invitational, yeah, one of the more select tournaments definitely to qualify for. Really good prize support on top of that.
And we have a pretty great top 8. I'm excited about seeing if Max Teets can go back to back here.
Right, especially we have our previous 2 invitational winners already in this top 8 with Max Teets and Jerry Thompson. All right, so Ross's hand a little closer. He's gonna keep it. All right. I believe you can actually. Yeah, he's got Ponder, Mana Leak.
So a turn 1 Diregraph Ghoul from Michael Marlow.
Right.
Starting things off on an aggressive note.
All right, so he's got the Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler is one of the scariest cards. Pre-board, you don't have access in this matchup to Celestial Purge. Gravecrawler is a card that you essentially have to race against, which can be very difficult for you, especially with Tragic Slip in his hand, the Guest's Verdict in his hand, and Marlowe's probably at a large advantage here. So the only card Ross gets to
Marlowe's
play...
got a pretty awesome hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's short a couple things. You know, it doesn't actually have a Geralf's Messenger in it. It really only has 4 power on the board. But with the removal he has to back it up, you have to think that he's in a pretty good spot. And, okay, his second draw was Highborn Ghoul. So, good power on the board. Ross has a Sword of War and Peace. But because of Geth's Verdict and really the Tragic Slip, it's going to be hard for him to link it up and really turn it into a life gain card. Ross is going to ponder here. Kind of not really happy with the draws he's getting. This matchup, game 1, is usually very solidly in Zombie's favor. Afterward, I think Ross is the favorite, though.
So Ross found a pair of Vapor Snags on top of his library, so
which is good, but Marlow's deck's converted mana cost is pretty low. The Vapor Snags, the problem is it means that Ross won't be drawing lands if he keeps this. But I think he has a Seachrome Coast, so he's fine with that. It's gonna try to stall his way for a little bit with Vapor Snags.
Yeah, Vapor Snag's strongest.
Yeah.
Against things that cost a little bit more mana.
Well, it's actually probably best against Highborn Ghoul in Marlow's deck. You know, the only other thing that costs more is Geralf's Messenger, which isn't exactly exciting to Vapor Snag. But Marlow's just going to continue to commit toward the board, recasting all his cards. And Delver of Secrets down for Ross. That's almost certainly going to take a Tragic Slip. Yeah, not waiting on it. And he will Mana Leak here, which it's pretty strong. And another Tragic Slip was drawn by Marlow. He'll hit Ross down to 8. Remember, Marlow also has another Geth's Verdict in his hand. Ross really on a back foot. And yeah, he's aware of the Geth's Verdict. I think we'll see players go to game 2 pretty quickly here. So
yeah, I don't really know what Ross can even do.
If you think about it in terms of serving, Ross really Michael held serve in game 1. It's our tennis analogy. Zombie's favorite in game 1, and this basically showing why. Ross wants to see the rest of his hand probably before. And he has Glacial Fortress.
And
he'll look at his hand. Sure. And then he does a Gut Shot, which isn't even castable. Alright, he'll pass the turn to Marlow. Marlow's going to untap, hit him down to 2. And, yeah, Ross is going to go ahead and Gut Shot the Highborn Ghoul, which also puts him to 2. And he'll stay at 4. He'll snag the Diregraph Ghoul. Ross's last card is a Sword of War and Peace. Biggest issue is that he has no creature in play, and we know Michael Marlow is sitting on a Geth's Verdict. Alright, 2 more 1-drops. Go ahead. And that should be that'll
shabby. Ross is going to need 2 blockers or a removal spell and a blocker, and he doesn't have it.
Michael Marlow takes game 1. So when we're talking about the fact, why is this matchup so much different post-board? Well, let's talk about some of the cards that Ross gets access to here. Okay, so we'll talk about some of the cards that he has access to here. He has access to Celestial Purge, 2 Once Purge, 2 Timely Reinforcements, 2 Phantasmal Images, 1 Batter Skull, and then an extra Sword of War and Peace. Maybe the sword won't come in, but the rest of them, and even the 1 mental misstep on his board. He'll get about 7 extra cards to work with here. So for those of you watching at home, we are at the end of our standard open. And that means we have a trivia question with a prize of 1 free Gen Con badge.
Pretty exciting. You'll get to come here to Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, Gen
Con.
Get
to see a place where Jacob Van Lunen has been.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, all right.
So what I would like to know, remember, tweet your answers to #SCGPremium, is what Planeswalker did we preview on air on the Magic Show on Friday?
We'd like the full name, not just the subtype. So, for example, if the answer were Sorin, you could have to say you'd say Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. So we're looking for the entire name of the card.
So we'd like to know what Planeswalker we previewed earlier this weekend.
Yeah. So Gen Con, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a gaming convention that takes place in the middle of August. Here in Indianapolis, it's 4 days. It's a Thursday through Sunday convention. I already have my badge here. As you know, Jacob Van Lunen has been in this convention center. For those of you wanting to visit, it's in Hall J.
Yeah. So they'll probably build a statue.
Right. It'll be in the back corner of Hall J, where you'll be able to see the Jacob Van Lunen.
The Jacob Van Lunen statue.
All right.
And the statues in me, if you've ever seen them before, they don't actually look like me. They are.
There'll be a some sort of commemorative inscription by it, so you'll know. Right.
Table. You might see a strange mark on the floor because the floor melts under my feet wherever I go. So.
All right. So on Game 2, you said Ross probably will turn. He becomes more of a control deck really in this kind of matchup, similar to what we saw Brad Shepard do in the top 4. A lot of his cards become very strong. Like I said, cards like Celestial Purge and Timely Reinforcements really let him avoid what happened to Game 1 there. And he's going to hope to make his way to either a Geist of St. Traft or a Batterskull.
And Batterskull is so strong here.
Yeah, Batterskull.
That's really what Ross wants more than anything is a Batterskull.
Yeah, the reason we haven't been talking about Michael Marlow's sideboard is he doesn't really have much of a sideboard in this matchup.
Yeah, it's his sideboard is pretty interesting because he's got some angles, and I'm going to be interested to ask him how he sideboards.
Right, he could play Skurstock High Priest. He could play Nile Spellbomb. I think they might come in for a Killing Wave, but I'm not even positive. A Killing Wave is a very high synergy card here.
Yeah, I mean, the Killing Waves are pretty awesome.
I think almost certainly the main deck Bloodline Keeper is not kept in here.
It's really hard to keep a 4-mana sorcery speed guy
that doesn't do. Yeah, almost all your 4-mana cards against Delver need to do something when they enter the battlefield. You need to play them almost as spells.
Because if your opponent has a Vapor Snag and a Snapcaster Mage in their hand, and you cast a 4-mana creature that doesn't do anything when it enters the battlefield, you just lost.
Right.
You know, it's too bad. You can't do that. Again, make sure you answer that trivia question. You have an opportunity to win
a free Gen Con badge.
And at Gen Con, you can use that Planeswalker to battle other Planeswalkers.
Yeah, there will be Magic at Gen Con. I believe the Team World Cup is at Gen Con, if I'm not mistaken.
Very exciting.
Cheer on the United States. We now have our full United States team.
Joe Panaccio.
Yeah, Joe.
In the last slot.
So the team is Joe Panaccio, Alex Bynek, Luis Scott Vargas, and Brian Kibler will be the United States national team. So you can watch that contest as well. And there are plenty of side events. Wizards of the Coast usually devotes an entire hall just to trading card games. Probably Magic takes up over half the hall there. So it's like the size of a Grand Prix, except that's only one room of the convention. It's really neat. It's an event I try to make it for every year.
Now, I think one of the coolest features of Indianapolis during Gen Con is the theaters and the movies they show. I don't know if you noticed that. You can usually see Empire Strikes Back. And if you've never seen Empire Strikes Back in a movie theater before, you need to do that.
Yeah, the downtown themes itself, a lot of the restaurants will sci-fi theme themselves. So the first year I was there, yeah, there's a great classic movie theater, great movie theater downtown across the street, and they showed The Wrath of Khan on there was one of their movies. Like, this is excellent. So yeah, the town really transforms and really does Gen Con well. It's a great weekend.
Oh, now Jesse suggests that the memorials they build for me wherever I go, that they call them Van Lunen's Memorial.
Okay.
Yeah, flying first
strike,
haste, everything.
Well, that would assume that you have all of those things. So your Chroma's Memorial, yeah.
I would like you to look at a feature match from Pro Tour San Diego in 2007 in round 6, where in a Chroma's Memorial made for a very hilarious feature match, especially the writing. The entire feature match is about how badly we're losing. about how we just don't stand, how like we were dead on
then,
board.
And then you draw a Chroma's Memorial?
Well, we had a Chroma's Memorial in play, but we didn't have any creatures. And then our opponents finally like attacked us with a whole bunch of stuff, almost killed us.
So, pretty good hand from Ross here.
Oh, he has the Purge and everything.
It has the Purge, has a Geist of St. Traft. It still has a Gut Shot in, which is a little... I wasn't expecting still to see at this point. So Fume Spitters have come in for Michael Marlow, but his hand is very weak, actually. It doesn't have a blue source for the 2 ponders in it. It's a very close hand of whether or not you'd even keep it. So Ross has got to be pretty happy with that. I don't think I like it much either. Ross needs to be aggressive here, and he really just doesn't. He really isn't.
Another messenger for Michael here.
He drew another messenger. So what Michael can do is if he can get all these messengers online, if he can find time to do it, he should be able. That'll represent his best chance. What he'll have to do is possibly just crack this Nile Spellbomb next
just
turn.
Trip a little bit. Try to find some more pressure.
All right, Ross with no plays yet. The biggest thing is if Michael hiccups at all, which he's not going to. He's going to get his turn 3 Grolf's Messengers. He's still going to have to race with Geist of St. Traft, which remember Ross does have a Celestial Purge. So if Fume Spitter comes down, that's not going to help too much. Ross will probably just slam a Geist of St. Traft here.
And almost no reason to hold back with it.
Yeah. Michael's not online for his blue mana, so you'd presume that the Phantasmal Image isn't a concern. Now, even if it were, Ross probably has no choice but to play the Geist into it.
Geist of St. Traft. It's so powerful.
So powerful. It's not blocked, it's a 6/6 for 3 with hexproof.
Yeah, Blade Splicer may have been performing better in the very short term, but when you're playing against decks like Wolfron...
And it looks like Michael Marlow has drawn a Drowned Catacomb, I believe.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, alright, so he can start the Parade of Geralf's Messengers and hope that will get him there. Ross does, as we know, have 1 Purge, so as long as... Maybe if he's drawn a Snapcaster Mage, it can just really... It'll really just send home how good that card is against this deck. Moorland Haunt, so Ross is firing on all cylinders now. Yeah, he'll go ahead and just immediately purge the Messenger. Doesn't want to see it get cloned or anything.
Yeah, and that's pretty nice for him.
Alright, so and Angel comes in.
Quickly behind here.
And he's going to Gut Shot the Fume Spitter. So he does manage to find value off his Gut Shot. And he'll play Snapcaster Mage, targeting Jataxian Probe. A little hasty on the Snapcaster Mage unless he has a second one. He needs to make... Yeah, the Nile Spellbomb will get everything. Okay, so yeah, he wants to draw the Nile Spellbomb. So he's not actually going to get to Snapcast the Celestial Purge. So we'll
Ponder from Michael.
Sure. The problem with it is now the next Geralf's Messenger that's in Michael's hand, not very good at racing here. Ross is threatening to swing for 8 and drop Michael to 6. A come into play tapped creature may not be enough.
Yeah, just that first swing from Geist took a big enough chunk out of Michael's life total to just set him far back, and now Ross can just lean on him, and that's what Delver can do.
Well, yeah, especially
gets those first couple of punches in.
Yeah, if he gets Michael down to a life total around 6, then suddenly he can chip away with cards like Vapor Snags and Snapcasting Vapor Snags to really just like seal the last few points.
Suiciding Geist even.
Yeah, Suiciding Geist just to deal 4. Michael will need to have an untapped blocker this turn, really. He wants to apologize. Ross says he is apologizing for playing very badly on camera. Well, we like how this game is going.
I mean, he knew about the second Geralf's Messenger and had the Purge in the graveyard. So if he has another Snapcaster,
yeah, he didn't know about the second Messenger. I don't believe.
Oh, he didn't?
No, we only saw the first one off the Jataxian Probe.
Oh, you're right.
So he doesn't know that there's another one there. He drew
the second one on turn 2. So Michael, just going to shuffle his library with that Ponder.
All right. Got to be a good sign from Ross there. I mean, especially when your opponent's on the back foot and they ponder and you see them shuffle, there's always that, like, mental fist pump that you're doing.
Oh yeah, I mean,
He's already having. He's started to play land. Ross is reminding him, no, he's actually already got.
When they're
played on his
behind
turn.
and they keep,
That's
like, oh no.
It's all right. He has no play other than the messenger. It'll drop Ross to 14, but I think what Marlow will want is something like a pair of Blood Artists would be pretty good. He needs something to get himself back in the game. He's dropped to 6 here. And because Ross has Moorland Haunt on the battlefield, he's actually threatening 5 power worth of flyers. And then that's even scarier. Though to be fair, if he were to make that play, he may actually want to not do that play right now. He may want to end step, make a Moorland Haunt token, and then hope that he would untap and draw a 5th land.
Seems reasonable.
I mean, this all depends on the rest of his hand.
Yeah, but it's not looking very good for Michael right now. I don't know how
he
he's
might be going to a game 3.
This.
Problem is, well, Geralf's Messenger is great at eating life from players. So is Geist of Saint Traft.
Geist of Saint Traft, arguably better at it. Easier to
I would say
remove.
better, yeah.
And yes, it has hexproof, but it's still easier to remove. Man, such good 3-drops around nowadays.
Alright, so we do have a Blood Artist in play now from Marlow. Oh, a Highborn. He's going to go with Highborn Ghoul. He does have a Blood Artist in hand, though, yeah. So Highborn Ghoul, Blood Artist. Michael's is mostly just trying to stabilize here. The scarier part is that Moorland Haunt can make flyers.
Yeah, and in the beginning next turn, Michael's going to have to come up with a plan to beat that Moorland Haunt.
And do we have? And we do have the Vapor Snag. All right, that'll put Marlow at 5. And remember the Snapcaster. Yeah. All right.
That's
kind of what we said. When you get into that dangerous territory of 6 life, the Vapor Snag just becomes a back-breakingly good card.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Vapor Snag, especially when you're on the play with a Vapor Snag and you have early aggression and your opponent's stumbling a little bit. Once you're ahead with the Delver deck, if your opponent is trying to get back onto the table and you already have a board presence, if you have a Vapor Snag in your hand, it's going to be extremely difficult to lose. You can Vapor Snag their first play, then you're still ahead on the board, you can further your board position. Then if you have a Snapcaster or another Vapor Snag, your opponent just loses on the spot.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why Delver's so good.
So, going back to boarding, I'm a little surprised. So, it appears that Ross has probably taken out some number of mana leaks here. And it looks like he's kept in his gut shots, which I was actually a little bit surprised to see. But he did actually find the best target in the deck for the gut shots. Because Fume Spitter. He went, well, I guess he ended up gut shotting Fume Spitter, which is pretty good. Especially say if Ross was on, like, he may keep it in on the draw. Lots of times for curve considerations, a Zombies player will play a Fume Spitter out on turn 1, and you can gut shot it and then make a Delver of Secrets. That said, I still would probably try to find one of the other cards in here instead.
He's got a good amount of stuff post board.
Right, he has, like we said, he has Celestial Purge, Timely Reinforcements, Phantasmal Image, Batter Skull all decide in post board. I think rather than Gut Shot, I might rather play something like Mental Misstep if I wanted a Phyrexian mana answer.
He Mental Misstep, pretty good against Michael Marlow's deck.
I mean, obviously not good against Gravecrawler, but pretty good against the rest of them.
Yeah, the whole reason that Gut Shot is so much better than Mental Misstep in Standard, and it sees so much more extensive play, is because of 1-mana creatures that produce mana.
Right.
And when you're playing against a deck that doesn't have those, a deck where it's only reasonable targets for Gut Shot are pretty much Fume Spitter.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, you can misstep a Birds of Paradise, but what's really neat is the ability to Gut Shot, Snapcaster, Gut Shot. Lots of times you really just to mow down people's teams. Sometimes even to kill a 2/2 with it.
Yeah.
Just the versatility of Gut Shot makes it, I think, clearly the better card.
I would definitely have to agree with that. I would definitely play a 3rd Gut Shot before a 1st Mental Misstep. And I might play a 1st Mental Misstep before a 4th Gut Shot.
Oh yeah, Gut Shots, the thing is when you're 2 Gut Shots in a hand is usually terrible, because in the end you're paying a lot for a very... at the end of the day, you're still playing a Hornet Sting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just 1 damage.
Right.
For a card. So... really have to make it worth it. These players having a little bit of fun here this morning.
All right, game 3. This one's for it all.
This is the game to win the whole thing. The Star City Games Standard Open in Indianapolis, Indiana is about to come to a close, and either Ross Merriam or Michael Marlow will be taking home a trophy today, and a healthy check.
Yeah. So this is a reminder to you, after this match we'll have, I believe, an interview with the players. We'll be taking a break, and we'll be coming back at 11 o'clock for the Invitational Top 8. Star-studded Invitational Top 8 for you. We have Shaheen Sarani, Ronnie Rittner, Max Tietz, Lauren Nolan, Adam Boyd, Jerry Thompson, Brian Bronduin, and Michael Hetrick.
Yeah, so the interview will be over at the sideboard with Ruben Bressler, our other commentator.
And watch out, we will also have a live broadcast of a news inning, I believe. One of Ruben Bressler's news innings between this and the Invitational as well.
Very nice.
At your table, there will be a slip with your seat assignment. Please take your seat.
Where he will, I'm sure, tell us the goings-on of the weekend.
Slide case. Once again,
he was top of the Invitational.
Your plot assignments have been posted. Please find your table.
Not looking like the best hand for Michael. Maybe. I can't see that. Oh, no, it's Dark. It's definitely awesome hand.
Dark Shores into Diagraph Ghoul. That's going to get... Alright, and there's the mental misstep. And I see he also has the Celestial Persian hand. Ross has got to be pretty happy. This Delver of Secrets comes down for him. One of those high variance cards. See if he can get there with it. If it'll even get to live, first of all. And it does get to live. There's no mortar pot. He's got to, thank there's no more... Okay, spoke too soon. It still eats one of the kill spells.
So it's a tragic slip that away.
So Ross here, depending on how he feels about answers to, what he'll likely do is represent a mana leak. And then if there's no Geralf's Messenger that comes down this turn, he'll probably then purge the Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler actually can be a pretty big problem for his deck. While the ideal target is Geralf's Messenger, a purge on a Gravecrawler is probably good enough. There you go, yep. End step, he's going to purge that now that he's seeing no Messenger.
You do need to have the $40 in cash. Please have your DC.
You better make sort of War and Peace.
And that's going to be really good, especially with the Angels.
And just a Blood Artist for Michael Marlow. It's got to be a great sign for Ross here.
Yeah, Ross in great position to win this match, especially if Michael doesn't have an instant
Keep in mind,
will killing Restoration Angel.
Right, because we have Restoration Angel here, and Michael just says go. Restoration Angel comes in on end step. I'm smelling a Geth's Verdict or something coming in here, but possibly not. He's going to go for the equip and swing. Marlow just takes it. He is taking 8 damage. That puts Ross will gain 3 life. There's two phantasmal images. Ross shows that it's all 3 lands.
Nice to show your opponent your ponder.
And he'd be like, yeah, no, I'm shuffling. I'd like you to confirm it's correct that I'm shuffling here. See, this
There's no question that I know what I'm doing. I know to shuffle away 3 lands when I already have 4 lands as a Delver player.
See, what I would try to want to do in that situation if I were to show a ponder before that is I'd want to tilt my opponent. I want to see something like Restoration Angel, Snapcaster Mage, Geist to Saint Trap, then show it and be like, I'm shuffling. And the opponent holds in his stare and be like, oh.
What does he want?
What is he doing? You think I'm going to lose anyway, and he's just shuffling away his best cards.
So Michael Marlow with his work cut out for him here.
Alright, well, he's going to be able to have a blocker for Restoration. The problem is if he images Restoration Angel, the images will become white and not able to block Restoration Angel. So he's going to go ahead and copy the Angel, choosing not to blink his Blood Artist. He could have attacked and post-combat blinked it to untap it.
But as an 0-1,
right.
Not really the most profitable of plays.
And down comes Geralf's Messenger. Keep in mind that he's in a Vapor Snag. The Phantasmal
I'm surprised he did in that order. If he had
I hope they're not. Shouldn't write a life total off that. That actually doesn't take a damage. Just write them there because of it dies before that happens.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Michael Phantasmal imaged the Angel before he cast the Geralf's Messenger in.
Sure. My guess is that Michael misses that. I think he thought it could block there, and down comes the Batter Skull for Ross. Ross in firm control of this game with all the life gain he has online. So we have Michael Marlow down to 6 life, I believe. Facing a lethal swing. He has to either empty his hand for this restoration, Angel not to be a lethal swing. He's going to cast Nile Spellbomb. He's going to get Ross Merriam's graveyard. He's desperately digging for something to get him back in this game. He has another Swamp. He's going to have to empty his hand.
Yeah, but even if he does so,
that only buys him a turn.
Underneath the Batter's Skull.
So it looks like, despite our diverse top 8, the single Delver player able to manage Delver able to manage its way through a field of not Delver.
Made it onto camera despite our wishes.
Despite our wishes and best intentions, Ross Merriam made it onto camera. It looks like he's going to take this down. Michael Marlow plays a Swamp. His last card is Phantasmal Image.
And, I mean, Phantasmal Image can't really block much.
Alright, and there's the concession. And that is the match. Ross Merriam is your Star City Games Indianapolis Standard Open champion. He had the... he did